Hey everyone, this is Demari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'll be doing the August 2020 Shadow Work Tarot reading for the sign of Aries. Please keep in mind this is a general reading, so it's not going to apply to each and every one of you. However, you can take a look at this month's reading in regards to your Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus signs. So do take a look at your natal chart, see the corresponding zodiac signs, and see which video's title resonates for you most. Now, in regards to the spread itself, I'll be using the Dark Mirror Oracle deck, getting 2 cards from there, 1 card from the Moonology deck, 5 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot, and then clarifications from the Intuitive. As I said, it is a general reading, so don't force it if you feel it doesn't apply. Also, if you have another sign that is placement heavy in your chart and you feel like that particular sign's video resonates for you most with its title, feel free to check that out, okay? Also, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find the information down in the description box below. So, Aries, let's get into your reading. So let's go over to the Dark Mirror deck first. So let's see what we can find out in regards to the shadow aspects that are being revealed at this time in order to be understood, healed, and purged. All right. Wow, okay. So the first card you got is Hiding Your True Self. The second card was Masquerade. Okay. So Aries, I feel like with this combination, it's a case of, I feel like you're going deeper, right? You're being activated at this time. You're spiritually being activated. And with that comes a lot of weirdness, right? There's a lot of shifts taking place in your psyche at this time. So you may be a bit reluctant to explore that further or consciously want to participate in this transformation that you're undergoing, because it's forcing you to readdress who you think you are, who you thought you were. Certain personality traits, certain desires and wishes that you had, certain things that you deem to be hobbies or interests or passions or, career aspects. All aspects of your life are now coming into view because you're now having to reassess who you thought you were and what you thought was, indicative of you as a person. But you've got to understand that these are just aspects that we associate with the ego, right? And your ego is actually very malleable. And that's the point. When we think the ego is all there is, it can be very, very tricky when you go through such a transformation, right? Because then you're being forced to realize that actually your ego is only one aspect of you. It's an important aspect. It's the aspect in which you consciously interact on a daily basis with your environment and with others. So don't get it twisted. The ego is extremely important, but there are other aspects to you. And it may be that for a long time, your higher self in particular was lying dormant. So now your higher self is being awakened from its slumber, right? It's being brought to the surface. So you're coming to realize certain things about yourself that you're finding very difficult to acknowledge, let alone share with others, right? Because you've been so driven by the ego. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but just that you thought that all there is to you is what you present the outside world, right? And that it's indicative of your inner world, but you're realizing that there's a whole nother level to your depth, right? Not that you don't think you didn't have depth before, of course you did, but you didn't understand the extent of that depth until possibly now, or you're coming to start to see and realize that actually it goes way deeper than you thought. So let's start with the first card. Let's have a closer look at Hiding Your True Self. So this is the energy of the 2 aspects of self, right? Your higher self and your shadow, right? Or in this case, with the sun and the moon, I feel like this is more about your ego being the sun, what you show the world, and the shadow being the subconscious, the unconscious mind, the aspect of self that lies beneath the surface, where all thought and feeling is stored, right? So I feel like you're coming to the realization that your shadow may be housing a lot more emotions, thoughts, and feelings than you initially realized, right? And that there's a depth to it, to that, right? And that may have been triggered by some event or some realizations on a spiritual level that's forcing you to go deep into your shadow, to pull those aspects that lay buried for so long and confront those energies, right? Where you've been feeling possibly a lot of stress, anxiety lately, sleeplessness, maybe even depression, right? Because the body and the mind is reacting to the fact that things are not what they seem. The things that lie on the surface are not indicative of the reality behind the scenes, right? The depth, you know, the abyss that lies within each and every one of us. So that's the thing, you know, it can be very difficult integrating those understandings, and that can result in stress, anxiety, depression, right? But when you're going through like a dark night of the soul type deal, that's temporary, okay? Those feelings can be really hard and the energy can be so heavy to work through. But the important thing to know here is that it is temporary. But the more you fight against it, the more prolonged this process will be. Now with Masquerade, I feel like this is you coming to the realization that, you know, while yes, you know, surface level pleasures can be fun, i.e., you know, just casual dating, drinking, smoking, going out, you know, playing the part of Prince Charming here. And you may be a feminine, but this is just the energy, right? You know, being the Don Juan or Don Juan, I think that's what they say in the booklet, yeah, you know, that it's this kind of energy, being the ultimate lover and the one everyone wants to be around, everyone wants to associate with, everyone sees as the life and soul of the party, right? But that's just you on a surface level. But now you can't get the same level of enjoyment from those things as you used to because of this awakening, because of this realization of what you really are and the true depth that you actually have, right? So while those things can still be enjoyable to you, you're never going to see it in the same way again, and you're never going to approach it in the same way. Because there has to be more now. There has to be a certain level of depth, you know, something that appeals to you on a soul level, not just on an ego level. So it's very transformative. But again, Aries, you've been one of the signs that I feel like has been going through a deep transformation over the past year. You know, so I'm not surprised that this aspect is coming up for you, because I feel like this is the next part of your transformation. You integrating this new self-awareness, right? So let's go over to the Moonology deck and see what else we can reveal that can help you with this energies and what you need to know. Especially because we have the full moon in Aquarius coming up. I believe it will be in effect probably by the time this reading goes out. So that's going to be a good opportunity for you to kind of just solidify and integrate those understandings. And, you know, not force things in any one direction, but just going with it. Okay. So you have worked through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. So you could be dealing with a Scorpio, have Scorpio prominently in your chart. Regardless, I feel like the energy here is, don't fight against it. Don't fight against this transformation. Because as I said, the more you fight against it, the harder it will be for yourself, right? The best thing you can do is embrace it and understand that you are simply becoming a more true version of yourself. It's that you were always there all along. Your higher self was always there all along. But you are now getting back into alignment with, you know, your higher self. And it's necessary, you know. We all have to go through our own transformations, our own spiritual process, our own growth journey, right? It's going to take different shapes and forms. We're going to have different realizations, different inner truths that come to the surface, right? You are now exploring yours. So the best thing you can do is explore it with excitement and understand that, while there is a heavy, dark aspect to it, It's actually going to serve you in the long run. It's a process. And you know, something as significant as this is worth enduring, because when you get to the other side, the whole world is going to open up to you. You're going to see things from a whole new perspective, and you're going to have a truer sense of value when it comes to your connections, when it comes to yourself. How you view yourself will be so much more multi-dimensional than how you saw yourself previously. Okay, so the best thing you can do is just, you know, confront whatever fears, anxieties you have around this process and with the realizations that you're having at this time, right? That will serve you better than trying to ignore it or trying to fight against it, right? Okay, so let's go over to the tarot then and see what messages we can pull for you, Aries. I've already done the shuffle, you know, a few shuffles for you. I want to go again a couple more times. Okay, so let's see. Oh, there's another card that wants to come out there, so I'll take them both. Okay. That's interesting when that happens, but I feel like it is for a reason, so I just take it. Alright, so with regards to the first card then, you have the Ten of Pentacles in reverse. So Earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, you are on the cusp of... Yeah, I feel like, oh my God, Aries, yeah, you were doing so well. Like, I feel like you are becoming more aligned. And because you've been on this transformative journey for some time now, I feel like there's a lot of aspects to your life that is coming together for you, that's really taking shape, that's looking very promising, you know, and you have so much enthusiasm and passion for these things, right? So it's no wonder that you're manifesting them. I mean, an Aries in their true element is like an unbelievable manifester, okay? Like, you have so much passion and determination. There is like nothing that can stop you other than yourself, right? So that's why it's really important that you do work through your fears that's being triggered at this time through the shadow, because that's the only thing that can prevent you from having this Ten of Pentacles at this time. All right. And the Ten of Pentacles is talking about literally having it all. And that is coming to alignment with a true soul level mate, soul level connection, right? Someone that is resonating at the same frequency and has the same wishes. And I feel like that's when you work through that, you will start attracting them in. You'll start drawing them in. And less you care about casual encounters, right? And you may be like, Demari, I don't care about casual encounters already, and that's fine. But perhaps you feel like people that you've been meeting and dating are not really fulfilling, you know, they haven't got that depth, or the connection lacks that depth or that soul level, you know, kind of connection, right? And that's what you'll start calling in once you work through these fears, right? So with regards to the next card, then you have the Six of Wands, fire energy, your energy, as well as Leo and Sagittarius, right? So this is it. Victory is at hand, right? This is something that you're getting very close to, especially with the Ten of Pentacles being in reverse in the first position. That tells me like you've accomplished so much already, Aries. You know, you're really on track. You know, all of the work that you're putting in is paying off. All of the work that you've put into, you know, manifestations, into your passions, into forming a life that truly uplifts you, it's paying off. You know, we can see that very clearly. But now what you need to think about is, okay, so what is it that's holding me back from reaching the Ten of Pentacles? What is this fear? What shape does that take? Is it simply, you know, the fact that I'm awakening to a side of myself I've never experienced or never experienced to that level before? Is it the fact that, you know, I'm coming to certain realizations about my reality that I find very daunting because I'm having to completely shift my worldview and how I perceive all that there is. I mean, that is a big step, right? That takes some time, that kind of integration, right? That takes time. And I feel like that's something you've had going on for some months now in particular, right? So yeah, it's still a process. It's not going to happen overnight. You know, there's still some aspects of that that's still, you know, taking place in the background, and that's fine. But you have so much going for you, right? So if you can just work through the shadow aspects that are coming through at this time, your fears, your concerns, things from the past, you know, wounds that need healing. If you really focus on that and doing the work, doing the healing, taking time out to do the introspection, then, oh my gosh, the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. And you've got to remember, the butterfly here is the symbol of transformation. Blue is a highly spiritual color. That's talking about awakening, realization, right? Powerful. Now, next card you have is Mother of Pentacles. Okay, so this is the Queen of Pentacles. More earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You could be dealing with an earth sign or have it prominently in your chart. Regardless, I feel like you are coming to a space where you're realizing that you need to be a bit tender towards yourself at this time. Nurture your growth, nurture, you know, your newfound awareness. Treat yourself like a newborn child, because you are going through a significant rebirth. That's essentially what this is. You are going through a rebirth. And yeah, you have to be a bit, you know, you have to be a bit delicate with yourself. You have to be a little bit more understanding if, you know, you're not as confident at points or as outgoing, or if you need some time to yourself. That's fine. Give yourself what you need, because it's going to help you in the long run, okay? So don't worry if you're not as outgoing as you usually are. This is a time for incubation, for giving yourself what is needed so that you can recalibrate and find your footing while you're exploring, you know, new paths. Next card you have then is the Seven of Swords, so air energy, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. There's some self-deception, I feel like, or something that you're kind of shying away from. Again, I feel like, you know, hiding your true self here. It's a case of you're coming to realize certain things about yourself, and you're finding it very difficult to let go of certain beliefs that you had about yourself, right? So you're maybe turning a blind eye to certain things because you're like, no, that's not me. That's not how I am. Well, it is now. You're not the same person that you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, right? So there's no need to hang on, right? There's no need to, you know, try and protect your identity, because your identity is fluid anyway. You know, your ego is very malleable, as I said. So who are you trying to protect it from? Yourself? That's what it comes down to. But again, it is a process, so that's okay. It's just going to take you a little bit of time, I feel. Okay. So let's go to the clarifications then. Oops. Okay, so clarifying the Ten of Pentacles in reverse, you have the Nine of Wands, or fire energy, your energy. So with this being here, I feel like, you know, Aries, yeah, you are very much like, you know, you're very, I feel like the image I got just now is, you know, Bambi. I mean, of course, if you watch Disney films when you're a kid or even as an adult, you must know Bambi, right? The little deer. I feel like you are Bambi, you know, when he's like, you know, at the beginning of the movie when he's like, you know, trying to find his feet and he's constantly falling over and he's very meek and shy about it, but, you know, he's coming out and he's taking his first steps and, you know, he's just kind of exploring a little bit. I feel like that's you at the moment, you know, because you've been navigating these heavier energies. And it's been really challenging. I feel like once you start to work through the last of your fears, you're going to see a really bright and beautiful world open up to you. And you're going to be taking your first steps. And it's going to be a bit challenging. You're going to feel a little bit meek, a little bit unsure. maybe a little bit fearful, but you can overcome that, right? Because you have the tools. You have the tools to do so. That's why this is happening, because now is the time. You are ready. You're ready to take that step, okay? So it's okay to be a little bit anxious and nervous, as long as you're not scared to death, right? You need to face any fears that you have around these new changes, right? So clarifying the 6 of Wands here, you have the Magician, right? This is what I'm talking about. I love this. This is you, okay? You and your element, Aries. You are the Magician, okay? You are just manifesting like crazy, consciously and unconsciously. That's why it's essential that you work through your fears, because if you're unconsciously manifesting as well, which we do, and you are so filled with fear around these shifts and changes and realizations, right? Then you're going to manifest obstacles in your way, and you don't want to do that, okay? Not when you have so much abundance coming towards you, right? And being manifested. So don't put obstacles in your way through manifesting from a place of fear. Okay, clarifying the Mother of Pentacles here. You have the 5 of Wands, okay? So this talks about challenges. This talks about defending oneself as well, right? That, yeah, you need some time away from any drama, any conflict, anything that invokes stress or anxiety, right? So if there's any conflict that is surrounding you at this time in your environment, you just remove yourself from it. Don't engage, don't even get yourself involved, okay? Because you need to tend to your own well-being at this time. Like I said, you're in a very fragile state, I don't mean that you are not strong, you're weak or anything like that, but I just mean because you're going through a rebirth, you're going to be a bit tender. So you need that space to yourself. You need that time. You need that peace. So do not engage with anything or anyone that disrupts that peace, okay? And I feel like, as you start to resonate in that frequency, I'm going to be honest, Aries, you're going to have people wanting your attention. I'm telling you, people are going to be coming out of the woodwork, left, right, and center, fighting for your attention. And that's fine. You engage with who you want to engage with, how you want to engage with them, but put your own time, you time first, okay? That has to be first and foremost. You need time and space for yourself. You need rest and recuperation. You need to go into a bit of an incubation period. So as long as you prioritize that, of course, you can connect with whoever you want, but don't be surprised if a lot of people start demanding for your time all of a sudden, and that's where you need to be a little bit careful also. And then clarifying that 7 of Swords, you have the Temperance card in reverse. So Sagittarius energy, you could have it in your chart, you could be dealing with a Sagittarius. With it being in reverse, I feel like, yeah, you fight against your higher judgment, the divine guidance that's coming through your higher self at this time. You're kind of trying to weave around it. You're trying to ignore it, or it's like you're trying to trick yourself into thinking that, oh, I'm just having a moment. It's fine. Everything will snap back to normal. And it's like, that that's not true, because nothing's going to be the same. You are not the same. You are changing, you are transforming, you're going through a rebirth. When you go through a rebirth, nothing is the same, right? So that's where you may be self-sabotaging a little bit as well. And that's going to slow down the healing process. So it's really important, again, that you take that time where you're going to a little bit of an incubation period and do the work, right? Now, with regards to your outcome over here, you have 2 cards actually. You have the 5 of Swords and the 6 of Pentacles. So this is it. It's like, you can cut out any confusion right here and now. Any confusion that you feel is simply coming from fear, right? And so there is no point beating yourself up. There's no point going around, letting your thoughts go round and round and round in your head to the point where you can't think or see clearly anymore, right? Like, allow the fear to slide away. Just allow the process to happen, And then you will find that things will start to become calibrated again, balanced. You'll find your new equilibrium, right? A seed has been planted. It is now growing, you know, as you can see here. It is growing. It is bearing fruits, okay? The balance will be restored. But this is a process, you know. And of course, yeah, there are going to be some difficulties. But the biggest challenge here for you is not allowing your thought process to disrupt your growth process, right? So that's going to be the primary goal for you at this time, Aries. If this reading resonates for you, you really need to work through your fears, face them head on, come to a place of understanding, acceptance, forgiveness, release, healing, right? And know that you are on track. You are starting from a fresh, clean slate, okay? So whatever fear, guilt, shame, regret, remorse you have, work through it, understand it, accept it, and release it, okay? Because you are moving on, okay? You are moving on. So I hope this helps you, Aries. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. Possibly these energies will come up in a future read and we can see how you're getting on with that. But regardless, I'm sending you so much love, so much encouragement, lots of e-hugs, okay? And just know that, yeah, it's a process, but you're getting there. So just don't allow your fear to take hold, you know, and you will be fine. Just take it one step at a time. So all the best, and I will speak to you very soon. Also, as I was saying, don't forget to hit the notifications bell if you haven't subscribed when you do, so you're informed when the next reading goes up, okay? But otherwise, take care. Speak to you soon. Bye.